Since Donald Cusick retired, he has been the man. Wonderful penalty taker and shot stopper Anthony Nash has been the all-star goalkeeper in 2012 and last year. And the 29-year-old from Kenturk is a vital member of Jimmy Barry Murphy's squad. Shane O'Neill is rock solid at right corner back, while the Rebels full-back Damien Cahalane is coming to terms with the testing challenge of playing full-back. Completing that inner defensive line is the Glen Rovers man, Stephen McDonnell. The centre-back 2013, Christopher Joyce, has spent this summer out on the wing, while the number 6 jersey is now handed to this man, Mark Ellis from Mill Street. Completing the line is the second of the 3 Kenturk players, Lorcan McLaughlin. The Cork centre field has gelled well and is an interesting combination. The skillful, energetic Daniel Carney has blossomed beside the physical, hard-working presence of All-Ireland football medalist Ed Walsh. The half-forward line has scored 224 between them. Conor Lahan is a special talent at 10, while Bill Cooper from Youghal has really developed since responsibility was bestowed upon him. The unknown kid at the start of last year, Seamus Harnedy, well, he ended up an all-star last year. Alan Cadigan has been another wonderful talent to emerge for Cork this summer. Good to see that team captain Patrick Cronin has recovered from injury. He picked up in the Munster final, while at top of the left is Patrick Horgan, who has chalked up a staggering 241 so far in the championship. Tipperary goalkeeper Darren Gleeson is 33 and plays in only his 7th championship match today. He was understudy to Brendan Cummins since 2008, but this year he's clearly number 1. Championship debutant against Limerick in the Munster semi-final, Cathal Barrett from Holy Cross Ballycal has established himself as a first-choice defender. People seem to forget that Paddy Maher was an all-star full-back in 09, and Paddy Stapleton is playing well and deservedly retains the other cornerback jersey. The Tipperary half-back line is made up of leaders. At right half is the team captain Brendan Maher. He captained the Premier County minor hurlers to victory in 2007. Interestingly, the UCC hurling captain this year is James Barry, while 28-year-old Kieran Bergen plays in his 7th championship match. Midfield could decide the semi-final. Shane McGrath's performances were so good in the qualifiers, he had to start. His midfield partner, of course, is this man, James Woodlock. The 6 Tipperary forwards are all potential match winners. Wearing number 10 is Gerard Ryan. Patrick Bonner-Marr is an outstanding hurler, while Killinall's John O'Dwyer is a man in form. He's already scored 214 from playing. If you ask, where is Tipperary going to win this match, then here's your answer. Between Noel McGrath, Seamus Callanan and Lara Corbett, they've scored 7 goals and 49 points in just 4 championship matches. If the ball is left in fast to these guys, Cork could have at least 3 major problems. This is it, the very first All-Ireland semi-final between Cork and Tipperary. Who will play Kilkenny on the first Sunday in September in the All-Ireland hurling final? That's the aim, that's the target. Cork won the toss, they've decided to play from left to right. Here comes Lara Corbett with the first opportunity. Shane O'Neill intercepts rather easily, sends it along the surface over towards Stephen McDonnell, who in turn tries to find Lorcan McLaughlin. Christopher Joyce is there to lend assistance, drives it long. First attack of the match for Cork. Here comes Alan Cadigan. He's lit up the championship so far this year, 2013, and you can see why. After 36 seconds, it's Alan Cadigan and a point.
And then look at, we saw there the ball came straight in over the top. It should have been cut off, but Alan Cadigan has been brilliant for Cork this year, out in front, and that's a great start. His first major game at Cork Park, that'll settle him.
Mark Ellis. Good play by Cork, but the pass just went astray from Christopher Joyce. Added by James Woodlock. 2 against 2 up here. Doing the hard work is Seamus Callanan. Rounding Shane O'Neill. Sends it across to John O'Dwyer. That was the intention, but the plan just didn't quite come off. But great work by Callanan. Here comes Shane McGrath. And the ball comes first. Callanan again. He hops it on the ground. He tries to make an angle. He's having a shot. Oh my word! What a brilliant goal. Callanan has delivered in the biggest stage of them all. An All-Ireland semi-final in Croke Park.
Absolutely great work here by Shane McGrath. He covered a lot of ground to pick up that ball and he crossed it. And Seamus Callanan has been very prominent. See Shane O'Neill drop the ball out of his hand. Lovely touch there by Callanan. And all that was on his mind was a goal straight into the top corner. And another, you know, that won't do Shane O'Neill's confidence, and he got to drop the ball. Here it comes again.
And it's Tipperary again as Cork look a little bit rattled. James Woodlock makes a little bit of space. He's having a go, and it's a good one. Seamus Callanan, a goal. James Woodlock, a point. Almost 7 minutes gone.
That's a great score by James Woodlock on the run from out the field. But again, I think Cork are doing an awful lot of short passing. Just watch the flick here off the ground by Seamus Callan to regain control, and he just buried it in the roof of the net. A fantastic finish.
Mark Ellis underneath it. Ball is available. Daniel Carney chinking away from Lark Corbett. Flicks it back. Steady as a rock, Cathal Barrett, under 21 player this year. It was very impressive in the Munster semi-final against Clare in Ennis at under 21 level. Shane McGrath sending it down towards John O'Dwyer, who looks dangerous. Noel McGrath laying it off as Bubbles O'Dwyer gets inside the cover, takes the shot, and that's over the bar. 1 point for James Woodlock, another one for John O'Dwyer, and that's a brilliant start by the Premier County. It
is, Martin. You have to say the Tipperary forwards look way sharper than the Cork forwards so far. Their movement is fantastic. Great ball in by Shane McGrath again, and Tipperary be delighted with this start. Here's another high ball in between them.
Here comes Shane McGrath, man on form. Again, the target is Callan, and again he gets a touch. O'Neill under a bit of pressure here. Bonamara is coming in to challenge. He manages to get a clearance. Far as Stephen McDonald. The effort by John O'Dwyer doesn't quite connect. It's an easy ball for Lochau and McLaughlin. Giving it long. Oh, fantastic catch, Paddy Stapleton. And that is a free for Tipperary. Make no mistake about it, in the opening 10 minutes, the Premier County boys are on fire. The free is quickly taken. Bubbles does a little jig to the left, then hits it on the right, and Bubbles has scored his second point in Croke Park. It's a brilliant start by Tipperary.
Yeah, Martin, you can see the way Tipperary want to play. That free was quickly taken by Pádraig Maher. They just want to up the intensity, up the pace all the time. Another great score by John O'Dwyer, and Tipperary dominating this game.
It's a long time since Cork scored, over 10 minutes. Long ball, breaking ball, picked up by Aidan Walsh, and that is over the bar. A badly needed score by the Munster champions.
Yeah, and Aidan Walsh will need that. You know, that's his first touch of the ball. I think good score, and Cork really needed a score now. They've really been dominated in the last 10 minutes.
Coming through the middle is Conor Lahan, being double marked at the moment by Tipperary. Ball into the centre is a good one. Here's Seamus Harnedy, point on the offering, and he takes it. Cork beginning to find their rhythm after a rather slow start. Good vision here.
Yeah, absolutely. Lovely first touch by Harnedy as well. Lahan and Harnedy, great combination play, and again, a very good score.
Here's Cathal Barrett. Giving it long, Mark Ellis. Can't reach it, Shane O'Neill does. John O'Dwyer has it. Good block down by Daniel Carney. Having to help out his half-back line. Ball up for Patrick Horgan. Given a little bit of space on this occasion. He decides to have a go, which wasn't the right option, to be fair. I'm sure he realises that only too well.
Yeah, it was a poor wide, and I just feel the Cork forwards are, you know, hoping things will happen for them. They're not showing for the ball. Great hook there by Daniel Carney. He's been very prominent since the game started, but they're just sort of going for the ball a little bit half-hearted. I think they're hoping to get a handy ball, and you won't get that out there today. And a couple of their shots so far have been very poor as well.
Cork forwards this time marking the Tipperary defenders, so Darren Gleeson having to go long. But he's put out. Here comes Aidan Walsh. Ball inside. Oh, just about getting there was Bill Cooper. But again, the finish is poor. 5 wides for Cork in this opening 17 minutes.
Yeah, and at least 3 of those, maybe 4, have been really good chances. That really, you know, on another day would be over the bar. But Cork getting more possession, you know, in the last 5 minutes. I think they've started to dominate possession around the middle of the field.
Seamus Harnedy getting on a amount of breaking ball again. Having a go from way out the field, and the end result is the same. They need to play it around a little bit and find Patrick Cronin and Patrick Horgan, and perhaps those 2 players with Alan Callaghan should go in deeper.
The Tipperary backs are out in front every time, and there's very few options from out the field, only to take that shot.
Mark Ellis again doing well under a high ball, and he's dropping back a little bit deeper, I notice, trying to maybe go in front of Seamus Callanan and Shane O'Neill, because the long ball into Callanan is posing serious problems for Cork.
You're right about Mark Ellis. He's doing very well so far in Bonamara. He has drifted back a bit. He was following him out the field earlier, but he's now in there trying to protect Shane O'Neill as well. And here's the ball in.
Anthony Nash goes for the score, and that's over the bar. It's his second point of this championship journey. Good score by the goalkeeper. And just before that, Cork had shot 4 wides in 3 minutes. Again, the short puck out strategy working for Tipperary. Paddy Stapleton made himself available for Darren Gleeson. Sunshine is the problem here. Easily got it by Aidan Walsh. Sends it into the middle. Sweeping across again is Paddy Marr. Over as Shane McGrath. Long ball again. They're hovering, but they don't have to hover because it's straight over the crossbar. Excellent play by Tipperary.
Yeah, great ball out there by Pádraig Maher and Shane McGrath. Right in the middle of the field, a beautiful strike. And Tipperary midfield, you know, I was saying maybe Cork had the advantage there, but Tipperary competing very, very well. Aidan Walsh has scored a point, and both the Tipperary midfielders and Daniel Carney getting through a lot of work, so very open contest there so far.
Shane McGrath, he's scored once. He's on the 45, he's going for it, and it's over the bar. Simple but effective, and good work by the 2 Tipperary midfielders. First Woodlock and then McGrath.
And that's exactly what it was. You know, simple hurling. James Woodlock, good run, drew the man, and unselfishly threw the ball out to Shane McGrath. And another great score from Tipperary, and moving very well around the middle of the field, half back line.
Here comes Patrick Cronin, and it's across the face of the goal, and yet another wide for Cork. 8 wides. That statistic is beginning to, I'm sure, bother Cork supporters and Cork management.
Yeah, but that wasn't even a shot really. It was just kind of a hit and hope, a bit of a lob across the square, and Jimmy Barry Murphy is going to be very disappointed with that type of shoot.
Here comes Lara Corbett. Diagonal ball is aimed at Seamus Callanan. Stephen MacDonald gives it back to his goalkeeper, who gives it everything. High dropping ball. Down towards Patrick Cronin. Wins the 1-against-1 with James Barry. Flicks it out for Conor Lahan. A point here would surely boost Cork belief, and indeed a huge, massive boost to their prospects. Conor Lahan, good score.
It was, and it was Route 1 hurling a whoosh up the field from Anthony Nash, and a mighty catch by Pat Cronin. And that's a bit of hunger that we haven't seen from Cork so far. Fantastic.
Brendan Marr is there. Sends it down. Better ball for Seamus Callanan to gather. Mark Ellis is there. Bonner Marr. Oh, beautiful hand pass back. Seamus Callanan is surely being fouled, or at least held back by Shane O'Neill, but Anthony Nash gathers it. Referee saw nothing. And the free, or rather the play, continues on with Larkin McLaughlin giving it long. Down for Kieran Bergen. Sweeping it down the middle. Plenty of Cork defenders. The call is from Mark Ellis. The handling is poor. Comes by his Lara Corbett. Steps inside. Larkin McLaughlin still with it. Seamus Callanan hovering around the edge of the square. This is Callanan dropping it in, and it's an easy ball for Anthony Nash, who has the time and composure to spot and find Damien Callahan. Oh, great block down by John O'Dwyer. Callahan was giving it everything, and John O'Dwyer blocks and punishes and scores in a beautiful piece of hurling. And look at the reaction of the Tipperary manager, Eamon O'Shea.
Well, that's a great score by John O'Dwyer. He had no right to get to that. Now, Damien Callahan should have had the ball cleared. He took far too much time on it. But, you know, Martin, some of the hurling, it's basic. You know, we're driving balls up the middle. Cork are panicking now, going with this high ball every time.
Conor Lahan splits the posts. Good play by Cork.
It was a lovely touchdown there, and Conor Lahan, look how quick he struck that ball. A beautiful score, and Cork, as we've said already, hanging in there with Tipperary having loads of the play.
Shane O'Neill is there, getting there ahead of Seamus Callanan. It's a poor hand pass. Comes back to O'Neill. This time he connects. 2 against 2 up here. James Barry, Patrick Cronin, 3 defenders. Paddy Marr is back there. Turns onto his left, as you can see, and drives it down the field. Great hands, great catch. Seamus Harnedy trying to get through the challenge. Good defending by Tipperary, and the referee gives a free to Seamus Harnedy, and to Cork, and the Tipperary players protest with a certain amount of justification, I would suspect.
Yeah, I think so. Here you see a great catch by Harnedy. The referee has brought it forward now, but he goes through. Ball is flicked away. He loses possession. I don't see any free there.
Brendan Marr, the Tipperary captain, explaining his frustration with that particular decision. And there's dissent. Patrick Horgan, third free of the match first point of the game. And despite being outplayed, Tipperary only leading by 2 points. Here comes Bill Cooper, knocked away by Shane McGrath. In comes Gerard Ryan. McGrath calls for it. He looks, he's already scored twice. And this is going all the way. Wonderful play by Tipperary, and in particular Shane McGrath. He's a man very much on form. The Pierce's Christopher Joyce. Bill Cooper available. High ball for Patrick Cronin. Sweeping up is Cathal Barrett. Good defending by the right corner back. Gets it out for his Paddy Maher. About to be challenged by Bill Cooper. Still Paddy. Peerless man. Cool under pressure. James Woodlock. And that is going straight between the posts. Between them, McGrath and Woodlock at midfield for Tipperary. They've now scored 5 points from play.
They have, and the prediction I made before the match was that the Cork midfield would dominate, but it's completely the opposite. I thought that Carney and Walsh in the form they were in would dominate that midfield, but the Tipperary midfielders have been absolutely brilliant. There's high Pat Horgan coming in there a bit high. Cathal Barrett is sweeping up very well. He's having a brilliant game for Tip.
Out of Tipperary's 1-9, 1 goal and 8 points come from play. And they're coming looking for scores. Again, over for his Bonner Maher. Damien Cahalane, it's Lar Corbett. Looking around for support. Available is Seamus Callanan going for his second point of the game. And it's over the bar again. They've often said in Tipperary that if the 6 Tipperary forwards ever clicked on a particular day, they would cause havoc for any opposition. It's pretty close to it at the moment. They're dominating so many areas. Yeah,
their interplay is fantastic. They're playing as a team. You know, their first every ball, Brendan Maher started that with a brilliant catch at half-back, and they're just completely dominating this game.
Cork are backtracking. Lorcan McLaughlin is there. It comes to Bonner Martin. Oh, Callanan! Seamus Callanan with his second goal of the game. And Eamon O'Shea knows now there is a light in the tunnel and there's a place in the All-Ireland hurling final. Cork should have dealt with this. Bonner Maher, Gerard Ryan never gave up. It was Bonner that gave the pass over for Seamus Callanan, and Callanan let fly. Munster champions in trouble. Deep trouble. Here comes Patrick Horgan. Great defending by Cathal Barrett. And the fray is for Tipperary. And Tipperary are on fire.
Yeah, absolutely, and here's Pat Horgan coming through. Cathal Barrett comes back, great tackle. He's been absolutely outstanding. He's upended then by Pat Horgan, but here's the goal. Just watch Bonner Maher again, looking one way, he passes the other, and Seamus Callanan, absolutely phenomenal finish to the roof of the net again. Just look at the follow through and the power that he puts into that. Anthony Nash, no chance.
Here comes Kieran Bergen into the centre to Noel McGrath. From outside the 45-metre line, it's his first point in this All-Ireland semi-final.
Yeah, fantastic score there. Great work by Kieran Bergen again, and you'd have to say that the foundation been set down here by the Tipperary half-back line. They've been absolutely immense. Pádraig Maher has given an exhibition of hurling out there. Great catch for the last ball there, brilliant delivery inside.
16 minutes into the second half. Cork have only managed 1 point in this second period. Great run here by Lahan, and that is over the bar.
Yeah, it's a brilliant score though. He picked it up a long way out the field and showed his pace, and Kieran Bergen stayed with him, but he's still off the hurl. Beautiful flicking over the bar. And you know, it's still 20 minutes to go, and you know, if Cork could get a goal to bring them back into the game.
Tuck-out accuracy from Darren Gleeson is one of the features of this match. Slipper bobbles all the way for Seamus Callanan to John O'Dwyer, and they are some duet, these two boys. Callanan feeds O'Dwyer, and John bubbles O'Dwyer, gets his 5th point of the game.
And when you have a forward line willing to throw the ball around, it makes them very, very hard to mark. When there's no, you know, there's no greediness within that forward line. They're all willing to play for each other. They're unselfish, and you know, Seamus Callanan, a lovely pass out, and John O'Dwyer again over the bar.
Ball comes down for Cathal Barrett. He's played well on Patrick Horgan. Here comes Bill Cooper. Chance of a goal. Cuts it into the centre. A beautiful interception by James Barry. A goal written all over it. And Tipperary are back there now in numbers. Kieran Bergen. Over for Road Ryan. Long ball. Again for Seamus Callanan. Lar Corbett is available to his right. Callanan flicks it to a player that's available who is doing this for fun. It's John Bubbles out the wire. 6 points the left half forward has scored. But again, it's Callanan flicking it up, feeding out the wire, point.
Yeah, but he's making it look so easy. Great work by Seamus Callanan, as you say. Could have been a goal the other end. Great interception here by James Barry. Kept his eye on the ball all the way. Eventually made its way up the field. Garrod Ryan moves that ball so quickly into Seamus Callanan. A great score.
Aidan Walsh. Again, they're blocking, they're hooking. Tipperary are working so hard. The Road Ryan. Fantastic catch by Bonamar. And has the composure to spot Noel McGrath available. Swings it back across the face of the goal again. This is James Woodlock. Gets it at the second attempt. Woodlock, getting by Daniel Carney. Still Woodlock, uses the short grip and flicks it over the bar. For his third point of the game, the two Tipperary midfielders have now scored 3 points apiece.
Yeah, and I think that typifies, the spirit of Tipperary. James Woodlock, back from a serious leg injury over the last couple of years, hung in there. Look at Bonner Maher again with a fantastic catch. But James Woodlock's performance is full of honesty, and here's Aidan Walsh now been taken off. Had a very tough afternoon, and Tipperary midfield have been absolutely brilliant, have dominated the game.
Rob O'Shea is on for Aidan Walsh, another one of the Cork under-21s. Played well in the Munster final against Clare, but he's more of a forward than anything else. And here he is, dropping the ball in. Here's Paddy O'Sullivan. Darren Gleeson is in control. Sweeps it down towards Garrod Ryan. Conor Lahan is there, so too is Rob O'Shea. Stephen Moylan. Nice ball inside for Conor Lahan. Goal must be on his mind. Here's the shot, and Darren Gleeson saves and deflects it over the bar for Conor Lahan's fourth point. But credit the Tipperary keeper with a fine save.
Yeah, Conor Lahan is, staying, trying. Great save by Darren Gleeson off the post and over the bar. Lahan really the only Cork forward now that's shown a bit of fight, and Tipperary have put this game, I think, outside the Cork streets at this stage.
Over first, Bonner Marr. There's nobody coming through the middle at the moment. And Bonner Marr realising he's going for it. Who got the last touch, didn't go out over the end line. And the Cork defenders, what were they thinking here? Shane O'Neill responded. But their confidence, even that little sequence of play, Michael, would show that the Cork confidence is shattered.
It is. It's hard to believe how poor a performance this is from Cork. Really been, destroyed all over the field, and the Tipperary forwards are really doing what they like at this stage. Lovely score by Noel McGrath again.
It's his second point of the game. He's had about 3 or 4 wides, but again, he's such a good hurler that he kept at it, and he knew eventually he'd find the range.
Yeah, I think, as I said, Bonner Maher was moved into the corner. Noel McGrath moved to centre forward. Lara out in the wing. They did their homework at half time. They identified the weaknesses in the Cork defence, and they exploited them fully in the second half. And very impressive display by Tipperary.
Dennis Marr. Still Marr. Gathers. He has Noel McGrath available. Seamus Callanan is now directing traffic, telling him where he wanted the ball to be placed, and that is over the bar. Seamus Callanan has been a source of difficulty from Cork since about 3:30 this afternoon, and it hasn't changed.
Cork were here last year. They were pucking the ball away from being All-Ireland champions, and they're really intent on getting back this year and making to the final and giving it a rattle, but they've been completely out hurt. They never turned up, and Tipperary have dominated in every sector of the field.
Long ball from Bill Cooper. Down for Conor Lahan. Laying it off for Stephen Moylan. There's a chance here for Rob O'Shea. Good Cork goal. It's a little bit of too little too late, but it still will give Cork a little bit of confidence. The substitutes combining here and ending with Rob O'Shea cracking the ball into the net. Brian Cody will now realise it's another Tipperary Kilkenny. And listen to the crowd at Croke Park, because they see Brian Cody image up on the big screen. The old rivalry is alive and well. It's going to be a Tipperary Kilkenny All-Ireland hurling final on Sunday, September 7th. Jimmy Barry Murphy, always a gentleman, congratulates Eamon O'Shea. Heartbreak for Bill Cooper. The championship journey for Cork is over. Full-time score here in Croke Park. Tipperary 218, Cork 111. It's Tipperary against Kilkenny in the All-Ireland final.